Hello, everybody. We are here today to celebrate the launch of Wandering Warrior Judge. I heard it was written by this really weird guy. His name is Michael. Oh, Michael, you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
So, Michael, I'll let you give a little intro and then we'll jump into some questions.
Hi, my name's Michael, and I hate squirrels. But yeah, so Wandering Warrior, it's a book. I wrote it. It's about a guy who it's kind of a portal fantasy, just a little bit. It's about a guy who's from a world much like ours. Some might say it's our world. Some might say it's a world that's not quite ours, but it's pretty much like it. Hi, TJ. And he gets sucked into a different world. And when he goes to that world, he's given a mission by a system controlled by gods that are too uppity to ever speak to him. Yes, that's right, Brian. I have to have a neck pillow because I broke my neck, Brian. Did you know that? I don't know if I ever mentioned that. I broke my neck one time. Hi, Richie.
Hi, Richie.
But yeah, so he goes to a new world, and he's given a mission by the gods through a system that says that he's gotten all these weird quests that he has to do, and he has no idea why he was chosen. He has no idea why he's in this new world, and he doesn't like it very much. But he figures out a way to survive on his first world, and then his second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all the way up till he's now on his 20th world. Thanks, Steven. So he's now on his 20th world, and by now he's now on his 20th world, and he's maxed out his stats. He's maxed out the system. So he's grown stagnant, and he doesn't like being stagnant. So he has to figure out a way to become not stagnant, because this new world, the 20th world, is more difficult than his past 19 worlds. So, yeah, that's pretty much the book.
And where did you come up with the idea for this book?
Well, it was a fever dream. So what happened was I had COVID, and I had a fever of about 105 degrees, and I was feeling awful, right? I was just terrible. So yeah, yes, five words. No, it's 20 worlds. He's on 20 world. He's on world 20. So he is on. Yes, that would be my wife. She's in the background doing things. Thanks, Richie. That made me for what were we talking about?
You were telling us about your fever dream.
Yes, my fever dreams. Yes, thank you. So, thanks, Jez. You're killing me, babe. You're freaking killing me. There's a table. So, yes. Thanks, TJ. Yes. So, I had this fever of like 105 degrees. I had COVID. I was feeling like crap. And apparently at some point, I grabbed a hold of my laptop and I just started writing. And in that fevered haze, I wrote 5 full chapters and then posted it to my Patreon. And then,
hi, Chris.
And so I wrote 5 full chapters and posted it to my Patreon page. And it was like 2 days later, I finally was like human again. My fever was down. I could think with normal brain function. And I had all these updates and alerts on my phone from comments from my Patreon, like more activity than I had seen since like my book 3 had come out. In case when it's 20 worlds, not 4. Yes, thanks, Paul. So Paul has a cameo in my book, by the way. He's a very integral character. But I was reading all these comments and I'm like, what are they even talking about? And so Like they're like, we love this. This is amazing. We want more. Right. And so I'm scrolling through and I'm like reading all these comments, and then I go back and like I had this faint, like almost dreamy haze of writing these first 5 chapters. And then so it was like as I was rereading, yes, Paul, you most definitely are. Yes, that's the plan. 19 prequels one day. But as I'm like reading them, it was like unlocking these memories in my brain, and I was like, oh man, now I'm stuck. Like now these characters are real, they exist in my brain, and now I have to write this story. So it became what I call my bouncer story. So like as I worked on my main projects, if I would get stuck, hi BJ. Hi, random citizen. So, like, as I would get stuck in Threads of Fate or Year of the Sword, I would bounce over and work on Wandering Warrior. And so, this first book actually took like a good like 8-9 months before I had about like 90,000 words in it, just because I was very gradually plugging away at it. And but once I felt like I had more of a cohesive, or I could feel the ending coming up, I switched over to where it was my main focus, and I really zeroed in on it and nailed it down. And it went through a couple of rounds of dev editing to kind of smooth everything over. And I think it has turned out into a pretty awesome book.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's kind of like saying your kids are nice too. Like,
yeah, I know my kids are okay; they're pretty okay. It's awesome because we even have merch. Yeah. There's merch for it now. Yeah,
which the shop is undergoing an update. So if you try to go to the website right now, you will not see it, but you will see it with a bunch of new products very soon because we're putting all that stuff in right now,
which is exciting.
Yes. We've got okay.
Thanks, Jess.
Okay, this I'm gonna put up on the screen here. It's because block us. Hi.
Oh, that's my wife. And not.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that's like really explaining a lot about something.
Yes, that's my. It was she was putting a crock pot up on a high shelf, and that was all the banging and slamming and yelling that was going on in the background earlier. Yes. Yes.
Well,
TJ says don't apologize. Yeah, they love you more anyway.
She's cooking your congratulatory meal, so I think
yes, actually that is what she's doing in the background. She could have just like moved the crock pot and set it on the table out of the way and just waited for the video to be done, and I could have put it up for her. But you know.
And Chrissy is asking the question we all want to know: where's the food? Like,
well, it's still being made. we're having tonight we're doing steak, twice baked potatoes, corn on the cob, and bacon wrapped asparagus.
Wow!
So yeah,
nice.
Amanda's doing it up big.
Yes, she is.
In celebration of the book coming out. No, we knew what you meant, Richie. You're good.
So cool. These backgrounds here. These this is the full art. I don't know if I can like duck. No, you just see my chair then. Yeah. But the artist, he does these by hand and then he paints them. And I don't know, has he sent it yet, or is he?
Yeah, I've got it. Hey Naomi, can you go grab the painting for book 1, please? Out of the office. Thank you. Yeah, I've got my. Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. No, Paul, you bake him the first time. Why, thank you. Yeah, no, Paul, you bake him the first time to set the flavor, and you bake him the second time when you're actually ready to eat him.
You boil potatoes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You boil them first.
She's got the recipe.
No, that's book 2's cover. I need book 1. It's the small one that's actually on my desk.
No, you bake them, scoop out the guts, smash them.
Naomi's trying to give spoilers away.
I know. I was about to say, I'm like, are we doing a cover reveal?
It's not time for cover reveals.
Bake them, scoop out the guts, smash them, add the stuff into it, put them into the skins, and bake them in.
Okay. All right. So I've just been informed how to make twice baked potatoes. You boil them, scoop out the insides, mash them, mix all the ingredients that you want in twice baked potatoes, put them back in the skins, and then you bake them.
They're delicious.
You don't boil them. You
No. It's like this big, and it's got the cover of my book 1 on it. And it should be on my desk. Yeah, you can put them in a soup.
Maybe you don't boil them.
Yes, thank you, Stephen.
And she is trying to correct you so nobody makes the recipe wrong, that you don't boil them. You bake them and scoop it out because you have to preserve the shell of the potato to restuff the potato back into.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Paul, it is the most complicated way to make a potato. That's why
But
it's called
delicious.
twice baked. That's it. Yes, thank you. That's literally the cover of my book. She lives with me and she's like, "What's your book look like?" But yes, this, if it'll work, there we go. This maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was gonna say, hold it like by your face, kind of. Yeah. There you go. Now I can see it.
It looks really awesome.
So that's the original painting by
Yeah.
Eric Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, he painted it. It's on this like hunk of it's like it's called corkboard that is obviously not visible at all. Yeah, it's called corkboard. It's like this. It's like a piece of wood, and he hand paints it, and then he scans it and uploads it digitally, and then he does any digital enhancements that we ask for. No one asked Geneva how to make eggs. No one.
No, don't. I'm not going back to Facebook jail, man.
But yeah, this is raw and uncooked, the only way. But yeah, it is super awesome. This painting that is just I don't even know, but this thing is ridiculous. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it is so impressive what Eric does.
Yeah, he's really talented.
Yeah, and we might or might not be, by I mean me, be commissioning another one of those from Eric to do a special giveaway if we hit a certain amount of reviews. Like maybe if we were to hit 1,000 reviews on Amazon, maybe we could do a special giveaway.
That would be somebody, a good one. I think that's a really good idea.
For somebody that would want their very own copy.
So get on it, people. Leave reviews.
Yeah.
Stephen, it's that way you can talk about with eggs. You just can't talk about cooking them in an air fryer. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just don't do it.
Really? You got banned from Facebook for talking
30-day ban, could not even run ads. They thought I was a terrorist. Yes. Yep. That's what I get for teaching people stuff.
You are on an NSA watch list right now.
I am. I'm gonna get stopped on my way to DragonCon.
Yep. Just saying hi to all the people watching you. They all know me probably.
I was gonna say, can you teach me some things I really shouldn't say so I say them in the airport? Like
Siakur al-Infijar. I mean, there will be an explosion. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one for the airport. Definitely get you there right on time. Maybe in handcuffs, but
get you there right on time. Oh, the Duck Boys are in the chat. Yeah, to get you there right on time to prison. It's good.
Yes.
It's a good place to hang out.
Good time. Yeah, that's exactly where you want to be at DragonCon, right?
It's the place to be.
Yes, Atlanta prisons. Okay. Paul is requesting that you tell us a story about getting shot in the PB. I thought you got stabbed in the PB.
Yeah, I didn't get shot. I was stabbed.
Okay.
Yes, no, I was shot in the back. I was stabbed in the testicles. Yes, those are two different events. Yeah.
And how many times have you been blown up?
4.
4.
Yes.
So it's 4 times being blown up, Paul, and 20 worlds.
Egg. Yes. Yes, I've had 4 egg experiences. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, I
I
mean,
do
Paul, you're
call-
his friend.
Yeah, I do. No, it was one of my own soldiers. Yeah. Duck. Yes, I should be better at ducking. No, it was one of my own soldiers that stabbed me. It was an accident. Um, yeah, yeah. No, well, that's the thing. Whenever you're in the military, you are insured for like $500,000. So the joke is all the time you're worth more dead than you are alive. So
Which sucks in this world, yeah.
yes, I've spent a lot of time in hospitals doing physical therapy.
So, from your real life world experience, how does that play into your writing, specifically your fight scenes?
So I feel like it gives me a bit of an edge as far as being able to describe the way. Yeah, I know, right, Jess? Being able to describe the flow of the way that a fight really works. Like, obviously, we're in the real world. We don't have fireballs and magical spikes that shoot up from the ground. But we
I mean,
do.
you don't, but
Yeah. But we do have grenades and 50 cals. And, well, thank you. But we have plenty of things that 2,000 years ago would be seen as magic. And so yes, yeah, a lot of them did. Some of them ended on fun helicopter rides. No. Called light flights. Yes, galvanized dust off. But yeah, the
Dust off is evaporation, complete annihilation, and you have nothing left of a body.
no, that was the name of the medevac, was galvanized dust off. It was their call sign.
That's what medics call a dust off.
I gotcha, but galvanized dust off was the name of the call sign for the people in Iraq that come and pick you up in a Black Hawk.
Okay. I'm just telling you what we call a dust off.
Okay, thank you, babe. All right. On First and Avenue and Oak Street. I believe you, DJ. But yeah, so they have like the flow of a fight is still the same. You know what I mean? Like the way that people react, the suddenness of violence is still the same, whether it's magic or real world. Like it is the weird moments in like it's crazy how in a fight there's like these pauses that just come out of nowhere. Yes. Yes, exactly, Richie. And a grenade works the same way. Now, yeah. but like the like there's you'll have like these weird moments where like it's like everybody's just stopping to take a breath almost.
Yeah.
And like people that have never been there and never experienced these things, like it would be almost impossible for them to accurately describe these things. And I feel like whenever I'm writing these fight scenes and I really tap into my past experiences, that I feel like it shows. Like people, when they're reading it, they can tell. Like
Absolutely.
Whenever you're reading my books and you come upon those moments of realism and like those flashes of experience that the main character is going through, or whenever you're reading through a fight scene and you you have these choppy moments that will run into a flow, like that will flow into the next moment suddenly. Like it feels more genuine for a reason, because it is more genuine. Like that's how it really is. What's up, child?
We need help with the dishwasher. He's busy.
Okay, I'll do it in a little bit. Okay.
Just in case you weren't on a live.
Yeah, just in case. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it really comes across that you've actually experienced combat, I feel like. Because, it's like if I were trying to write anything like that, I mean, I have some like hand-to-hand fighting experience, but nothing involving weapons or anything like that. So it's like, the hand-to-hand, even with that in boxing, you both get tired. You both step away from each other for a moment and, catch your breath. It happens.
Yeah. Well, and like, I even feel like there's a difference between like, I was a combatives instructor for a while, and there's a difference between whenever you are fighting, for training and fighting for even fighting in a competition, and when
Yeah.
you are fighting for life and death. Like
Absolutely.
those are two entirely different experiences. And
Yeah.
it does not matter how much you train. Whenever you experience, yes, pillow fights in the barracks, those are true life and death battles. Until you go through it, no one can ever explain. Whenever there's like a drunk Marine running down the hallway with a full mattress pretending he says is a pillow, and then he just like takes out an entire hallway of people because he's drank like 2 full fifths of vodka. Like that is
Sounds like a story.
yeah, that is an experience. It was called the Vodka series. That is an experience that no one can ever like explain until you've gone through it yourself. No, but but yeah, it's like until you've been through those things, it's impossible for you to duplicate them. And like even things like if you were to get really super deep into like airsoft and paintball and yes, I know, Paul, but one time is all it takes. But like whenever you whenever you have completely messing up, Paul.
Leave it to Paul.
Damn it, Paul. No, like you just like whenever you have these experiences, there's no way to duplicate them. Like even if you were super into paintball, airsoft, thank you, Neil. Super into paintball, super into airsoft, laser tag, any of that stuff. It does not hold a candle to reality. Like you, in the back of your mind, you still know at the end of this, I'm alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
exactly, you're not fearing for your life in that moment, so you're not
Yeah.
responding. It's like in a match, you're thinking about your form, right? You're thinking about points, you're thinking about that type of stuff. You're not thinking about I'm not going to make it out of here. So you're not responding the same. Your brain's not firing on the same things.
Exactly. Yeah. And so whenever I'm trying, yeah, exactly, BJ. It is a rush, and that's why a lot of people. Yeah, there's Dragon Con's coming up. Just saying.
Okay, Dragon Con's gonna be weird this year.
But yeah, there's whenever I try to like channel those experiences through my main characters. Yeah, Neil, this year. That's right. Whenever we try to channel those, when I try to channel those experiences through my main character, like I try to really make that apparent to the reader. Like I try to give them as much of a genuine experience as I can.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it really comes through in your writing. Yes, last year was totally normal. Absolutely, completely normal. Completely normal.
That's right.
So
since we have Neil here, do you think it's time?
I think it's time.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
So now I feel like since we have Neil here in the chat, it's time that we can announce that Neil is going to be the narrator for Wandering Warrior. Yeah. In case you didn't know, Neil. Yeah.
Yes, I think he was more worried about what we were going to reveal after talking about last year at Dragon Con being normal.
Yes. we have convinced Neil. Yeah, we've convinced Neil to not wear pants the entirety of Dragon Con to celebrate narrating Wandering Warrior Judge. But
well, he's excited to not wear pants the entire time.
He's excited to not wear pants, everybody.
I love the timing delay.
I know, right? The time delay
just
perfect. He's like, damn it, what have I gotten myself into? But no, but yeah. But yeah, we're the same as last year. Yeah, the no pants party. Yeah, so we've got it's probably not going to be until February of next year because Neil is a very busy man. But the good news is that by February of next year, all 3 books in the trilogy should be written. So they may not all be out by that point, but they'll be in various stages of editing and going through the publishing process. So that way we will hopefully have all of the audio staged and coming out in a solid release process. So that way
Yes.
people don't have to wait too long once they start coming out.
Yes, absolutely. And if you haven't listened to Neil's books, you are completely missing out. I'm currently listening to some of them.
Yeah, I mean, he does Jez's books. He does Eric
Eric's
Upland's
books.
book.
Yeah.
Oh man, yes, that's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Except for the photos and videos.
The photos and the scars.
Yeah, those two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have a couple questions here. So first we have Brian. So James Holden is a bit of a jaded guy. Tell us the inspiration for his mindset. He's not your typical starry-eyed protagonist.
That's true because he's on World 20. So just like in my Threads of Fate series, I don't feel like it would be right for me to write a brand new starry-eyed protagonist. Not saying that I won't ever write that type of character, but especially right now at this point in my life, or at least at the time whenever I started writing these books, because of my life experiences, because of over a decade and a half in the military, that made me a very jaded person. So no, Paul, I don't think so. That made me a very jaded person, and so that makes it more realistic for me to write that kind of character. And so I write. It's much more realistic for me to write a more jaded and experienced individual than it is to write a starry-eyed, young adult teen coming into his power. Like there might be flashbacks to that time period. Thanks, Richard. But there might be flashbacks to that time period. Just like I can remember the time whenever I was a young private in the Army, or I was a teenager or whatever. But that's not who I am, and that's not a good. It would not be genuine for me to write that character. It's much more genuine for me to write a jaded, grumpy individual who's just trying to slog along and just get to the other side. Yeah. And so that's the kind of characters that I tend to write.
All right. And then we've got another one here from Steven. What inspired the Holden's weapon? I thought that was a really cool reveal.
Which one? Because he has a few. He's got.
I'm wondering if it's the.
He's got 4. So he has 4 unique weapons. He has 4 unique weapons. One of them is his spear, which is you can see on the cover. Well, I think you can see like 3 of the 4 weapons on the cover. His spear is actually like a giant switchblade. And it's like you twist the staff. And so yes, you got it. Judge, jury, and executioner.
That was the one I meant to click on.
So yes, the staff. So the spear staff or staff spear. So that style of spear is called a yari. And so where it has that really thin type of blade, that thin long blade that comes out. And so it's like I said, it's in the book. It looks like a staff, but he can twist it, and the blade will pop out. And so I thought it would be in almost the style of like a spaghetti western or those old timey kung fu movies where yes, yes, Paul, you are absolutely right. Where like he's got the straw hat, and so like where the unknown samurai or Ronin warrior walks into the village, and it looks like he's this unassuming individual, and all of a sudden he just twists his staff and a foot-long blade pops out the end, or 1.5 foot long blade pops out the end, and now all of a sudden he's holding a very powerful and intimidating spear. and he's not as unarmed as you thought he was.
Mhm.
Or if he chooses to be less lethal, because one of his mission is to bring judgment, right? Like that's the Judge Dredd aspect of this story. Like he is judge, jury, and executioner. That's the mission given to him by the gods. It's like he's supposed to bring justice and equality to all these worlds that he's put on. And so sometimes he needs a less lethal option, and the staff gives him that less lethal option. Yes, exactly, Richard. Thank you. You can call it that, Paul. You can certainly call it that, sir. That's right, BJ. That is absolutely right. But yes, so so that's the spear. Now, his sword is a ninjado, which is a very classical, like what you would see in movies, like what a ninja would use. So instead of going for the more like an uchikatana that you would see, like the curved blade that or a regular katana that you would see like a samurai use, it's a straight bladed sword. And I went with that just to be a little bit different. It's very important to not be the exact same as everyone else, right? But I still need to exist within the genre, right? And I want my character to have a sword, because that's an important weapon to have whenever you're fighting in these environments. But the sword is in some ways his least important weapon, but it's more of a useful tool in that it is a magic eating sword. So the runes carved along the side of the sword, the side effect that they have is that they absorb magic. So for him, it may be shaped like a sword, but it's more of a shield against magical attacks. Yes, exactly, BJ. It's a strike. You have to strike that balance of being unique, but unique enough to stand out, but familiar enough that fans can recognize and connect to your writing style.
Yeah, they need to be able to understand the story still and not be drawn out by too much so that they don't understand.
Exactly. And then his third weapon, which in some ways is his most powerful weapon because it's connected to both his paladin class and his judge class, is his star metal mace, which he forged himself, and it's a flanged mace, which I think you can also see in the cover. My head is a little bit in the way. But it's a super badass, awesome mace that he can channel his magic through. So it's kind of the opposite of his sword, in that his sword eats magic and his mace can channel magic through that mace. So that one's super fun and cool. And it's always funny to me that in real life, the two most deadly weapons in the ancient world were the spear and the mace. And yet that's two of the more underutilized weapons that we see in fiction.
Yes.
And so in fiction and fantasy writing. And so so those are
not the same as the sword fight scene. Everybody's expecting that sword fight scene.
Sword fight scenes look cool, right?
Yes.
Like but in the real world, a mace was absolutely devastating. And so yes, yeah, I guess the Black Plague was far deadlier.
Yeah.
But a spear gave you distance and allowed you to poke somebody from a distance. So those were the two far more deadlier and more used weapons compared to a sword, which were usually brittle and hardly ever used in the ancient world. But they're like we were saying, they look cool. So yes. So that's why I felt it was important in this book to try to stick more towards realism. Oh yeah, for sure. If you're in plate armor and the dude has a sword, you'd be laughing at him. If he was holding a mace, you would not be laughing.
Be backing up.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, Denny. And so that's why I figured if I'm going to be writing a world like this. Yes, exactly, random Facebook user. They use far less metal, so they were able to make a lot more of them. And if they were to break, it was a lot easier to repair. It's a lot easier to, yeah. It's a lot easier to put in a piece of wood than it is completely reforge a weapon.
Mhm.
But so I figured if I'm going to be writing in this world that is a lot more magic light than my Threads of Fate universe, I'm going to try and bring in a lot more realism compared to my Threads of Fate universe. And so I did that in a lot of little ways by using his main weapons in this book. The ones he uses far more are the spear and the mace, because in reality, that's in the past, that's what people actually used more, were spears and maces.
Mhm.
And then the final weapon that he uses is because he is someone from our world. And I don't know about you, but if I was thrown into a fantasy world, one of my absolute priorities, if I could in any way, shape, or form, would be to figure out how to make some kind of firearm, right?
Everyone always brings that up. It's like the first thing. They're like, why aren't they making guns, right?
Yeah. It's one of my pet peeves, right? Like, why would you, especially if they find any form of black powder or some type of substance that could double for black powder.
Mm-hmm.
What time is Rachel and Mikey coming over?
7. So, yes, thank you, BJ. Also, yes, I am an American soldier and I love my guns, right? So,
which you have to say with an accent. So
yes. Well, howdy, that's right. I like things that go boom. That's right. So, I'm from Missouri and we like to shoot stuff. But my character was not a gunsmith, right? And that's one of the things that I also wanted to do. Like, my character was not a chemist. He was not a biologist. He was not some, like, yeah. Yeah, but like, he was not he was not some famous animal tamer. Like, I did not. He was very much a regular guy with what I felt like was a little bit more than what you might have as a baseline education. Somebody with like maybe an associate's or bachelor's level education of general knowledge. And that's about it. That's really all that he has. And any additional training that he had was through hard work and training that he got from his worlds that he was at. Like, we don't have alchemy as a thing that is real in our world, right? So any alchemy knowledge that he has came from the worlds that he was visiting. Any blacksmithing knowledge that he gained, he didn't get that in here from our world. He gained that from there. So like, he does not know how to make a gun. So he couldn't invent a revolver or an M16 or anything like that. What he ended up doing is he ended up building a wrist gun that's basically just 3 tubes of metal that he packs with black powder. And so, which I felt like if I was to end up in a fantasy world, that's probably
that's good. That's about what you get.
Yeah, that's probably what I would end up doing. And so he ends up with this like triple-barreled wrist cannon, which, if you'll look at the shirt, there's a triple-barreled wrist cannon right there. Boy, howdy, that's right. But yeah, so that's where that inspiration came from. It was me thinking to myself, if I were in James's position and I were given basic blacksmithing knowledge and I figured out a way to forge a metal that could withstand the forces of black powder. Like basically they're mini muskets that he has on his wrist. Like, what would I eventually be able to figure out? And it wouldn't be the most accurate thing on the planet. It would only be good for short range, but it would be an amazing hidden tool that I could use. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Richard. You totally get me, Rich. So,
well, no one would be expecting it. It's if they don't have it on their world.
Exactly. If they've not experienced or seen these things on their worlds, it's, surprise, bitch. No, Paul, that's my real, but that's from, if you from Missouri, that's just how you talk sometimes, buddy. I don't know what you talk about. Yeah, but that's so that was my inspiration for the 4 weapons. And that was a very long-winded answer, but I'm not sorry because we have to fill an hour.
Well,
so
and, you you've got 3 of them on your shirt, so it's
Yeah, exactly.
explaining the logo.
All 3 of the 4 are on my shirt. So there you go.
Only because it would look really weird having the 4th on there, like just like sprawling across.
Yeah, I don't even know where I'd put the spear. Like I don't know where that would go. Like that one.
Yeah. All right, we've got Denny asking, when is book 2?
So, book 2 is due for editing in October. I'm hoping to, if I can get it done before then, I will. But editing or publishing is a business, and so you have to have time slots with developmental editors and line editors and things like that.
Sorry, my dogs are barking. That's my big guy.
I would love to have someone to have a Nox from Sharp.
Oh, sorry, I moved it.
Would that have?
There you go.
Nox from Sharp. That's an ace weapon supposed to be used to clear borders on ships. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that would be cool, Richard.
And then it was don't ask Paul where to put the spear, and that's great advice. That's great advice in general.
Yes,
don't ask Paul.
Don't ask Paul for anything. Yeah. Yeah, but no, I forgot the mentioning
book 2.
Yeah. But no, book 2, yeah. Like yes, puppy. Publishing is a business, right? So you have to like find time slots with development editors, line editors. Like we mentioned Neil with getting the time slots for narration. I'm not surprised, Paul. Don't worry about it. We were just talking about you shoving spears in your butt. But yeah, even if I get it done, even if I get it written and turned in faster, it's probably still going to be like October for editing to get done, for the editing to get done, and then November for line edits and formatting. So based on that, maybe December, January for release. But if you are on the beta reading team for Legion, you would probably get access to it much sooner.
Yes, you would get access to it before formatting.
Yeah, that's right. You probably get it that November time slot somewhere.
Just in case you're not beta reading yet.
Yeah.
All right. And we've got Richard asking, how are the sales going?
I don't know, Geneva. How are the sales going?
I was going to say, that's a me question. Hold on.
Yeah. So
well,
that's
your rank has been scooting down nicely all day. I refreshed it shortly before here and it had scooted down again. So that is good. And the way Amazon reports, you get things in like chunks. They refresh all of a sudden and you're like, oh, there's some more things on here. So we won't really know how launch day went for like 3 days.
Yeah. It always works that way.
Yeah. They're going well.
Yeah. So it's funny. So for me as the author, since it's through a publisher, I don't actually have access to raw sales data. I only have access to ranking information. But I will say that as far as my rankings go, from what I can see, this might be the highest I've ever had a paperback ranking go. Like I have had more. I must have a ton of paperback sales on this one.
It's Legion books. Apparently, people want the papaperback. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
that's the thing. I'm like, okay.
It's crazy. Like I think I have far more paperback sales for this. Like the paperback is almost caught up to the ebook on the rankings. Oh man.
So Facebook
know,
user
Richard.
is asking, how can I join? So if you would like to join the beta team, you can reach out to me. It's a private invite only type of thing so that random spam people don't get in there. But feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. My name, nope, that side. My name is right there. And Facebook user also had mentioned, maybe different Facebook user, that they are glad to explore the new series, but hope Threads of Fate isn't bumped too far behind. But can you tell us about your plans on Threads of Fate a little bit as well?
Okay, so Threads of Fate has a lot of things happening. So, okay. This is about Wandering Warrior, people. No. Yes, free paperbacks. No, so Threads of Fate book 5. people aren't blind, right? So you can look at review numbers, right? So books 1, 2, and 3 each have about 2,000 reviews, right? Some a little bit over that. And then if you look at book 4, there's a bit of a drop off, which publishing is a business, which means the fact that I can get a 15 book contract for that series, everything is done in 3 book contracts, right? Because that series is done through Mountain Dell Press. So everything is done through 3 book contracts. Getting up to 15 books is a lot less likely seeing that drop off from book 3 to book 4. So that means that I had to do a complete rewrite on that series outline. I wanted to do 15 books, so I am trying to trim it down to where that entire huge, massively spanning universe that I had planned that fit nicely into 15 books, I'm trying to cram it all down into 9. To do that, that means that the books need to get a little bit longer, and I have to cut out some subplots that I had running that still exist in the books that are already out that I can't change. So that means that I need to wrap those up much sooner and in ways that I didn't plan on doing initially. So, like I said, that required a lot of rewrites for the existing series. And I had to scrap, I was about 50% through book 5. I had to scrap about 25% of that. So book 5 is getting rewrites done. And but at the same time, there's a side trilogy that is about, I don't know if you guys remember, if for anybody that's read the Threads of Fate series, in book 1, there was a tournament in Rose City, and there are some characters. Yes, I do have, yeah, totally not happening. There might be 19 novellas that get put in for one book. But no, there were some characters that were in that tournament, and they are getting their own side trilogy that is being co-written between me and another guy. Those books are done. That trilogy is written. It is going through dev edits right now. It has a lot of work still to go before it is going to be considered a finished product, right? Like the guy I'm co-writing that with, his name's Paul Vander Hayden. He's a very new author. So those books need a lot of polish still. And it's going through the same dev editor that I used for the original, for the main Threads of Fate series. So those two are working hand in hand to get that taken care of. And then I will come in and do my portion, and do the final polishing and spicing up the books and make sure that they follow the tone and pacing that makes it fit the Threads of Fate universe. So, but that side trilogy should be coming out hopefully sometime in the first half of next year, which is where I'm aiming for book 5 to also be coming out for Threads of Fate. And then I've also got the 2 books, the next 2 books in this Wandering Warrior trilogy coming out around that same time. So got
a few releases around.
Yeah, a lot of irons in the fire. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. Yes. 6 books, hopefully coming out in the first half, between the end of this year and the first half of next year. So
I just refreshed Amazon, and your rank has jumped again, because last time I looked, it was at, I want to say, about 15-ish in there, and it's in the 11s now.
Okay.
So it has jumped again, and it is in the top 100 now on Gamelit and Lit RPG Fiction.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So congratulations.
Thanks,
and
guys.
Keep it moving, guys. Let's get that rank even lower. See how low we can get it to go.
We got to pump those numbers.
Number ones. Yeah. Rookie numbers. Come on. Pump those up.
Yeah, we got to pump those numbers up. Listen, guys. Brian hit top 5,000 in his first week. We can't let Brian beat me. Okay? He would never let me live it down.
Yeah. I mean, buy it just to spite Brian.
just because we can't let Brian hold it over my head, because he would. He's already way taller than me.
Yeah.
He's like almost a foot taller than me. He has
You know,
enough
actually,
over my head.
at
anyway.
Dragon Con, we should have him literally hold his book over your head if it's and just take a picture like that.
What do you mean? Whoa, 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 Brian.
Yeah, we don't
Yes.
need any more of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely there's no series that I'm going to drop. That's not something that's going to happen. There may be delays, but there's no drops.
Richie, Brian is nice, but it doesn't mean you can't be mean to him.
Yeah.
Well, if his book ranks better. So it's a competition. You know, we actually are only going to have one author by the end of the year because they're going to have a fight to the death. Did
Yeah.
we not mention that, guys?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. See, Brian's already figuring out his gameplay for this fight to the death. Dragon Con is just a warm-up round. So, yeah.
No, have we talked about the calendar that we want to do?
I don't know if we've talked about it on a lot. I think we have, but maybe I'm just thinking of chats with people. So
Okay.
why don't you tell them about that calendar?
Okay, so there's this calendar. I am so far. Yes, the Speedo calendar. Yeah. So, yeah, the calendar, Jess. So, like, what we want to do is we want to do a Kickstarter, right? And all the proceeds go to charity. And for every month, there'll be a different author. Like, if we can get like Michael Chatfield to do like booty shorts for 1 month.
America's ass.
Yeah, like America's ass for one of them. Yeah, and then if we can get like Jez and like, nipple pasties,
And the
hiding behind-
Naginata.
yeah, and the Naginata, for another month. Yeah. No, see, so just and then
It's true. He hasn't, BJ. He needs to wear those.
yeah, and then it was like Matt Dinneman in like the boxers,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like if we can get like Eric Ugland in like because he's got like the hairy chest and like an axe or
The
something,
lumberjack pose.
like a lumberjack
Yeah.
pose
Yes.
kind of thing going on. Like, oh yeah, Chatfield February. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but what I think we should do is Brian and Just a Sock. Yeah. What I think Brian and I should be November for Thanksgiving,
I think so too.
right? And then him and I are either wrestling over a turkey in Speedos, or we're having, like the like dueling lightsabers, but instead of lightsabers, we're holding turkey legs in
I
Speedos.
like that.
Like with
Yeah.
manly flexing poses, but we're all oiled up in Speedos. You know what I mean? With
If
like
you're all oiled up, you got to have like a tub of lard in the picture as well, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
and, like-
it's Thanksgiving.
yeah, exactly. like a table in the background with like a Thanksgiving dinner that's just been like
The full
just, like,
spread.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's been like mauled. Like we've been at it. You know what I mean? And like food is like
Food
in our
fight
ears
everywhere.
and
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? And like the turkey's just been like shredded, and all that's left are the turkey legs, and we're like having a duel with these turkey legs. Yeah. Of course, Paul would go there. Yes, I have, Jez. I've had dreams about this, Jez.
Potatoes.
Yes, but no, I'd like if we had a different author, or
Every month.
pairs of authors,
or 2 or 3. Yeah.
yeah, for every month, and then if people were to go on the Kickstarter and buy the calendar, and like I said, all proceeds go towards a charitable cause. Like I think Jez had an amazing I think Jez had an amazing idea to help children that are missing limbs that need prosthetic limbs.
Yeah.
Especially because, like as they grow older, they grow out of their limbs and they need new limbs like every, couple of years. Yeah, exactly, Richie. Like people could go on and buy 5 or 10 calendars.
Perfect gift for your family
Yes.
members and
Yeah.
loved ones. Yeah.
Exactly. Who doesn't want to see me and Brian wrestling each other, oiled up in Speedos on Thanksgiving? That's right, Paul and Chatfield.
So on that note with Chatfield, though, I know everybody's like, oh, it's got to be February, Valentine's Day. But keep in mind, people, February is the shortest month. So that picture will be up the least amount of time on your wall. So you may want to consider, like January or something instead.
or he could be July, because America's ass.
That would be good. Yeah, I think July would work well for him. Yeah.
Oh, a cornucopia? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then we get to do a sexy one of all the authors' wives.
Amanda may be mildly upset about this idea. She's like, no, I don't want my husband in a Speedo, so everyone. You know what's so funny about this is that Chatfield is not even American, wearing American ass for the July.
So he had people so convinced at the dating game last year at Dragon Con, because that's what he did the whole dress up for, was the dating game panel. And he went on full accent and everything like that. And then after the panel, they finished the dating game portion, everybody talks normally for a minute and introduce themselves. The whole audience was in shock. Well, not the whole audience. I mean, the Lit RPG crowd were just like,
Oh man, yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, no, this is for the children, people.
Yeah. No, see, I think it's only fair that we like announce it this year and we don't do it till next year. So we give all the authors at least 1 year to try and get in better shape before this happens. Like, hey, you've got 1 year to either grow out enough body hair to hide yourself or to get in better shape between now and then.
See, and it comes with a free therapy class with Richie. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'm telling you guys, I think it's a great idea. We're gonna raise so much money to help people. I'm telling you, those kids, they're gonna have the fully robotic arms and stuff. I'm telling you.
Well, and weren't they the cool superhero arms and things like that too for the kids? That charity that he was sharing about.
They have like Iron Man arms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like really that's cool. Super cool.
Yes. Yeah. So everybody, spread the word. Get the other authors on board with this idea.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be talking to them about it all over Dragon Con.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, why wouldn't we? Who wouldn't want to do this? You know what I'm saying? It's for the kids. Brian. Brian, it's for the kids, Brian. Brian. It's for the kids, Brian. It's for the kids, Brian. He's my holdout. He's like, no, Michael, I don't want to do that. You're going to do it, Brian. Hell yeah.
Brian, he'll get used to being voluntold what he's doing.
Oh, man. We could even remember in 300 how they like airbrushed abs?
Yes.
People? But we've got to make sure it's done really poorly. Like we could have Paul
lopsided abs.
Yeah, we could bring Paul in and just have him airbrush abs on people, but do a terrible job.
Well, instead of airbrushing, it could be like watercolor paint, like different colors.
And for the stretch goals, I feel like we could have like behind the scenes photo shoots.
Yes, of the things happening behind.
What's happening behind the scenes photo shoots?
Yeah. If we did get all this together, we got everybody on board with it, it would make sense. It would all be logical if we plan to do it well at Dragon Con, because that's when everybody's in one location. We get the photographer there. We do that. We could even, potentially have like a special like elite tier on the Kickstarter to have tickets to come in during the photo shoot, get to meet all the authors and watch the photo shoots.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Jizz.
Everyone knows when I get involved with fundraisers, it gets dangerous, guys. I have ideas.
Yep. Paul volunteers to take the pictures. Paul, do you have any experience as a photographer? Richie does. Hey, we're good.
Yep. There we go. We just need the space now, and I'm pretty sure I can find it.
Yeah, we just need a video. Yep. And somebody to make a Thanksgiving, somebody nearby with a kitchen to make Thanksgiving dinner.
You know what? Alaron lives in town. Well, I'll just say we're borrowing your kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. And an actual question about the book.
I was gonna say, and a question about the book. Yes.
So what I did, I had set some, I have a spreadsheet, obviously like all of us do whenever we're writing these books. I had a spreadsheet and I had like solid benchmarks of, I knew whenever I wanted him to have his classes and his professions. And I knew what worlds he had those on. And then I kind of left the others blank. And I as I was writing the story, I let the characters tell me when to fill those in and what happened on those worlds. And so I just would like fill those in as I kept going. And there's even a couple worlds that are still blank. So I'm going to let those be filled in as I keep going for books 2 and book 3. But most of the worlds are filled in. Some of them don't have a ton of detail on what happened on those past worlds, but most of them are pretty solid and ironed out on what has happened. Especially whenever I was going through dev edits and like I had to I have this amazing dev editor. His name is James, which is funny because the main character's name is James. But James and I had to sit down and he'd like ask me questions about like, why is the world like this? Yeah, exactly. We actually, Geneva and I were literally talking about doing 19 novellas. And then once the 19 novellas were done, put them all into one book. Yeah. One audiobook. So, but like we, like, like I had to basically justify to him why these things were happening or what happened in these worlds that made James the way he is. And so that really forced me to fill in this spreadsheet about the things that he experienced in the past. And so that it was really, I didn't build his past and then write him. I wrote him and let him define his past. Like it was I guess they kind of grew together at the same time.
Organic development of it.
Yes, exactly. It was very organically grown. Like I said, this was grown over like 9 months. And this was the first series I've ever written that didn't have a true outline. Like I had, instead of like, a 30-page detailed outline on how things were supposed to go, it was like 1 page that was written after the first 5 chapters.
I was gonna say that came after the fever dream. Then
it's like, and it's still that. It's still just like, yeah, no worries. But no, it's like 1 page that's just like all the major ideas of everything that I want to have happen, that I want to see happen in this trilogy, and how I want to see it end. And that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 9 months. I made a baby. Yeah. And so that's and that's kind of what happened. So, and this is such a different experience writing it this way from any other. And I'm not sure which one I like more. Like I said, this one definitely took more time, like definitely much more time in gestation. Haha, made a baby. And so I feel like that's how come it took a lot more time in dev edits because of that, just because there was a lot more to polish out and a lot more to blend together. But I think in the end, it ended up with a lot more of an organic feel. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have the same flow and pacing as my other books have had, but it does have some more choppier parts. But in some ways, that makes it feel more real. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely not upset about it. That's for sure.
So these other comments that came in are back about the calendar.
Okay.
Yep. So,
I do, BJ. I have some serious enthusiasm about this.
Paul has volunteered BJ to be the fluffer. Richie
Oh,
has a
really?
hotel. Yeah, so TJ is a published photographer, so that's volunteering. I think
That's
right there.
yep.
And then BJ is clarifying that it's not that kind of shoot. BJ would not yet.
Uh,
I think yet is an important word with like everything at Dragon Con, right?
yes,
Like, not
that's
yet.
yeah. Just
We've got a good question here again. Would you say it's more gritty compared to Threads of Fate?
oh, for sure. For sure this is more gritty. It's more gritty. This has curse words, and Threads of Fate did not. Uh, also, like another reason why this book is different because Threads of Fate has its own unique vocabulary, right? Like that is somebody born into that, like they were born in that world, they've lived in that world, that is it. This is a portal fantasy, so it's somebody from our world put into fantasy worlds. So it's somebody with our vernacular, somebody with our sense of morals and values and things like that. So it's it does have mean words, Paul. And not to say the buttered turkey's back.
Hey, Michael, do you want medium well, medium rare?
Medium rare, please. Yes, and our need to swear. Yes, Jess. So like, but like instead of like in Threads of Fate, Jim, the main character, he curses, but he uses that universe's curse words. Like so, he's like like stars, like because that's the word that they use. That's their curse words.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas James uses our curse words because he's from our world. So, like I said, it's aimed at a little bit older of an audience. Threads of Fate, I wrote to be kind to somebody at 10 to 12 years old. Yimin Minj, yes. I think that Brian didn't mean for that to stay a permanent thing, but it has but yeah, the this is geared towards definitely an older audience. Like this one is maybe more like 15 and older.
Mm-hmm.
It would be friendly, like maybe a 5-year jump in friendliness, you might say.
Yeah. And then we've got a question here of best music to listen to while reading.
So the music that I listened to while I wrote it, so I'm a huge CCR fan. I love Creedence Clearwater Revival. Hold on, I'm just gonna pull up my playlist here. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Stop it! Don't start playing. So I've got so I listened to a lot of Five Finger Death Punch while I was writing this. Some Godsmack. Let me see here. I don't know if you've ever heard the song "Oh Death" by Bobby Bass. Thanks, BJ. I'm trying to find where's the one that I was like really like I listened to on Mindless Self-Indulgence. The song Never Wanted to Dance and Shut Me Up, those two songs. And then Royal Blood, their song Boilermaker. I don't know what it is about that song, but like when I'm writing fight scenes, that song, like I can just put it on repeat and I just go. Murder in My Mind by Chord Hell. That's another one. And then for some weird reason, the song Soldier's Eyes by Jack Savaretti, which is the song that was in the video game Days Gone. That song, whenever I am writing dialogue, especially some of his flashback scenes that you're going to see, that song allows me to tap into some emotions that are a little bit deeper. So any of those songs, whenever you're reading this book, I feel like will be solid.
We've got one from Facebook user. Who's your favorite side character that you've written?
Ever would be Scout in the Threads of Fate.
I love Scout.
That would be my favorite side character ever. But thanks, Paul. In this, Days Gone is one of my favorite games of all time. Oh yeah, for sure. By Five Finger Death Punch. But as far as side character in Wandering Warrior, it started out as Jess, but it became, as I wrote, it became Murphy, and then by the end of the book, it was Cross. And I'm hoping that as you guys read, you'll experience the same thing.
And then we've got another one here asking, is there romance?
There is romance between side characters, and there is romance with the main character, but it's fine. Heck yeah. Man, I wish he would come to Dragon Con sometime. It'd be so cool to get his autograph. Man, that told me that, like, think about Days Gone now. That told me what I was talking about.
Side characters.
Oh,
Or, sorry, romance.
So, the main character is dealing with some issues from the worlds he's been to in the past. So he is. I talk about how this book is kind of a blend of Judge Dredd and yay, romance. It's kind of a blend of Judge Dredd and Indiana Jones. And it's the way that it's kind of like Indiana Jones is the main character's attitude is almost that Indiana Jones laissez-faire, you know, like and like that whole the way that he kind of like throws that roguish wink at the ladies. Jonah Hex, I could see that, yeah. But you know, like he kind of like throws that wink at the lady, and you know, turns around and walks away. Or like, you know, the scene with the swordsman who's like does all these dances and flips the sword, and then he just pulls out a gun and shoots him. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of or like that scene where the lady's like, "Oh, you're not even that old," and he's like, "It's not the age, honey, it's the mileage." You know, like those are all. That's all very Indiana Jonesy, right? Like that attitude that he has, and that's kind of the same attitude that my main character has, and so in the same way that Indiana Jones has to deal with a lot of his past and his emotions with women, that doesn't necessarily stop him from hitting on women that he's dealing with in the moment. That's kind of how James deals with things. And so I'm not saying that there's not romance with the main character, but he still has to deal with emotions and things that he dealt with in the past.
Well, yeah, he's been through 20 worlds. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know that you have to get going here in a moment. Does anybody else have any questions before we go? Oh, here's one. How does Holden like his steak? How does he cook his eggs without an air fryer?
So James Holden would prefer his steak rare. He's a rare guy. I am a medium rare guy personally, but he would like James would prefer it rare. Because he spends so much time eating over a campfire. That's how he's gotten used to it. And his eggs, he prefers them boiled because that's how he gets them. Me, I prefer mine scrambled with cheese on his breastplate over a fire. Yes.
Yes, that seems like a good way to cheat the system there. You know, don't have a pan. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Jazz is having a pride.
Yeah.
Eat the skins.
Eat the skins of the eggs.
I'm hoping that's going with the potatoes. Yes, I'm sitting here going like, steak shouldn't have skins.
And you don't want to eat the skin of the eggs. That's
no. Yes. Okay. He did clarify potatoes. Yes. Potatoes.
Yes. Yeah.
Just great luck. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you guys. Well, everyone, then, if there are no other questions, thank you everybody for joining us. If you haven't yet, you can pick up a copy of Wandering Warrior Judge. The link is in the post with this live, so you should be able to grab it right from there. It's out in ebook and paperback right now, and we will have a beautiful hardcover with a dust jacket on it coming out here shortly, just waiting on a long approval time.
Yay!
All right.
Okay.
With that, thank you very
Thanks, everybody.
much. You have a good night.